if we get information could possibly spot, potential terrorist activity.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's all kinds of things.
If we could, label and put things together and, be able to help give a early alert on human trafficking or alert on this. I mean, we take that stuff seriously.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Morning.
So we had this video go viral,
right.
In terms of like our level of virality.
Our level.
Because of the comments section.
I mean, 4 comments. Yeah.
No, it was like probably 20 or 30 comments, right? Where people just we hit a nerve talking about this topic where, when people come to take out money, the bank will ask, what are you going to use the money for? And people came on a hinge like, banks shouldn't tell me what to do with my money.
In regards to the cash, yes.
Yeah.
Taking cash out, yeah.
Yeah, and so I just thought we would, kind of talk about that a little bit because why, have you seen this a lot where people get upset about it at the teller or, why does it make people come on hinge so much to have to tell why they're using the cash?
So, we don't see it too much face-to-face in the line when somebody's withdrawing cash. Mm-hmm. Typically, the customer, their business, and you've already built up, that's, kind of their normal course and everything's fine. They earned the money legally and there's not a concern. They're, doing what they want with the money.
Yeah.
It's all theirs. They earned it legally. Now, especially when you start getting into senior citizens, really asking that question because you need to know why, and a lot of times to protect them from themselves too, because, that's separate from the people making comments. They're not in their 80s and they're not in love with somebody they'd never met.
Yeah,
and,
you're talking about elder abuse.
Yeah, elder abuse. So, I mean,
fraud.
I think we maybe take that out of consideration through there.
Yeah.
Generally, you don't really see too much why they're asking questions, but then, they're like, well, why? Well, it's required. We need to know. But in general, not too bad. I think a lot of times people that get the maddest, they already know. So they're already, if they want cash out, they're not putting it in.
Yeah.
They're keeping some nest egg at home.
Yeah, yeah.
They're keeping it separate. They're the ones that are the most vocal.
Yeah.
But in reality is, the banks, we're tasked by the Patriot Act, guidance, Vincent, know your customer. When something's out of that, we got to do.
Now, know your customer is an actual term that you use. It's not just you're trying to know your customer. No,
that's them telling us we got to have a plan of know your customer. So they call
that's called
KYC. That's know your customer. And then, in businesses and in customers, EDD, enhanced due diligence. What are you doing on that on the marker? So, I mean, in businesses, we have to ask questions when open up a new account.
So who is requiring you to ask these questions and follow these guidelines? Is it the federal government?
Oh, yeah.
Treasury?
The federal government through different agencies. Okay. A lot of the IRS has government arm, FinCEN, Financial Enforcement Crimes, and I forget the acronym, but yes, there's a SEPT of IRS. That's who, when currency transaction reports are filed, suspicious activity reports are filed. Yeah. That goes to that governing body.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean, we are required to have a program now, but on the solaces, the better your bank has a better program that understands. See, the thing, like, we have employees that have common sense that oversee stuff, because if you've got a banking employee that has never really seen how businesses operate, they may think something is suspicious when it's really just normal course of that business.
Sure.
Some businesses are going to deposit more cash.
Yeah.
Some are going to deposit checks. They're going to have different flows.
Yeah.
And maybe it's different times of the year.
Yeah.
So you have to have some business sense of, does it make sense for that particular line of business?
Mm-hmm.
And I think so many banks don't necessarily have that level.
So there's an added rub there with the customer because they're asking, why are you taking this?
Well, I mean, the ones that, in the front lines that are asking that question, sometimes they're not as astute on everything. They're not
tuned into what that customer is actually doing because they haven't been there that long, or
correct, or they don't have time to look at the history. They're looking at that one transaction, so they have to just ask questions on the transaction. So then when, behind the scenes, we're looking at it overall and does it make sense?
Sure.
So it is frustrating, but the good part is, if your bank is comfortable with you, that's it. When a bank has a good program of anti-money laundering, and you've set up the pillars of a good anti-money laundering program, and run through that. If we have a reasonable belief of the actions that you were doing, even though it may be unusual to others, but we believe that, because we know your industry, we know that area, that it's not suspicious, and you're abiding by the laws, it stops.
Gotcha. So the biggest response then that you're giving to the commenters is the reason why you're doing it is because you are required, you're being regulated by these different bodies that you couldn't bank customers if you didn't do these things. And you're looking for fraud. So you're looking out for the customers.
We are.
That's really the reason.
Yes, because
it's not some big conspiracy.
No, it's not. I mean, there's some levels that, yes, I mean, is some things we're doing it to check a box. No, we try not to do things that way because there's always stuff to learn.
Yeah.
From knowing your customer. So there's a lot of things that you can glean from that. So it could be a deeper conversation that you have with them that, maybe there's something you'll uncover to save them a lot of money in another product, or, hey, if you do efficiencies this way. So there's a lot of things that we, value add that we can do with them and have that conversation. Yeah. You don't need to be afraid of your bank, but if you are afraid of your bank, then you need to find another one.
Sure.
But in general, some people may react immediately like they're just afraid, but it's like, no, if you just are afraid of, the economy or something explosion, and you're taking cash out in your home and you earned it legally, that's your right.
Right. So now when it gets to I'm at the teller, I'm taking the cash out, they're asking me this question. Do I have to answer the question?
I mean,
do I have to give them an answer?
You don't have to. I mean, nobody can force you to do anything.
Yeah. So then if they don't give an answer, then what's the teller supposed to do? Just, enter non-answer or?
Yeah. I mean, the things that they have to do at certain levels of cash is they have to know the conductors. They have to know the individuals. They need to know who's picking up the money and receiving it. So those are things that they have to do.
Yeah. So they're going to look at the ID.
Yes, they have to.
Right. That makes sense.
If you have an employee of a business coming to deposit, large amount of cash, that person depositing the cash, we need to know who that person is.
Yeah.
That's physically bringing it. That is a conductor. We need to know those things because those are all different points that could lead to, building our case that no, this is valuable. And we've had, companies over the years, like major franchises that are, let's say like a dollar store. I'm not saying one in particular, but there's Dollar General, there's dollar stores, there's Five Below. I mean, there's all kinds of stores like that.
Yeah.
So clearly a store like that's probably going to take a lot of cash in.
Right.
So, I mean, who's bringing that cash to the bank? It's going to be an employee of that company. So, I mean, that makes sense. Great. We know who the conductor is bringing cash to it. Oh, someone says bringing cash. It makes sense. It's a dollar store. Likely,
you start putting the pieces together.
The pieces are put together.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes sense that you...
And as you build a relationship with them, they're building a relationship with you, and this starts to become less of a issue.
Yes, but, the foundation, a lot of things were rooted in good because, I mean, if we get information could possibly spot, potential terrorist activity.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's all kinds of things.
If we could, label and put things together and, be able to help give a early alert on human trafficking or alert on this. I mean, we take that stuff seriously.
Yeah.
We don't want that in our community.
Yeah.
We don't want that at all. Anything that we can spot ahead of time
to
tee off. I mean,
I think to be
fraud. I mean, we've seen all types of.
To be empathetic to the commenters, I think that people today don't trust the government. They don't trust institutions. There's a lot of lack of trust across the board.
Yeah. And rightfully so too.
And so then when, they go to the bank and the bank says, hey, we need to know why you're taking this cash out. It's a red flag to them, another red flag. And
correct.
So that's why they get
Yeah. And that's the draw. I mean, I mean, there's plenty of people that are, are so afraid that they made it legally, they're, living off the grid.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're bad. It doesn't mean anything about it. They just,
I've thought about it many times.
myself included, so, just have, so if you have that concern, a bank that knows you and you can talk to them, great. You want to live off the grid and you want to live in cash and you just need your account to collect your Social Security. I mean, okay, great.
And if you go to a bank that's not your bank, let's say you're out of town or whatever, or you just go to a bank that's not yours, they're probably going to have a few more questions for you because that's the first time they're seeing you.
Oh yeah, that would be huge.
Something to consider too.
Yeah, somebody just shows up at our branch and,
just because it's your money that you're going to take out and you have rights to that money doesn't mean that they aren't going to probably ask you some more questions, because the context of you coming and taking out $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 of the cash is
sometimes odd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It really could be. I mean, how many times in, our lives will we need to take out that much cash?
Yeah.
Or isn't,
depends on how many bad bets you've made.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the way it could tee off. It could be that you're, gambling, but now, most states, gambling's legal. So, I mean, you don't have to worry about that one in most states now. So, I mean, sports betting, is, legal in most states now. So,
well, this is good. Thanks for that. I think I just wanted to pour a little bit of,
but I get it. I understand it. I mean, that was frustrating, and things that happen in other countries.
There's things like that
really happen. I mean, Canada, oh my goodness, you sent $50 to the trucker envoy and now you got your bank account frozen. Yeah, that would scare the heck out of me too.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, cool. On to the next one.